Everybody, Scott here with the Trek Bicycle Store and ABC Bicycles coming at you with another video. Thank you in advance for watching and putting up with my shenanigans. Today we are talking about the dreaded flat. Dun dun dun. Nobody likes to deal with this, but unfortunately it is something that is a part of life for a cyclist or people who just ride bikes in general. Flats happen, but do not be dismayed. Today we're going to talk about 3 super easy steps on how to combat the dreaded flat, and you will be back riding and looking like a champ in no time. So step 1, we need to get this tire off the bike, obviously, right? So these steps might vary depending on what type of bike you have. If you have the fancy new disc brakes or through axles, today we're just gonna go with the most common V-brake and quick release. So first off, we're gonna go ahead and take some things out of our flat pack. Just a little bit easier to get to it now. And then we're gonna start by disconnecting the brake. So on a V-brake, we're just gonna grab the noodle and we're gonna grab this arm closest to us, and we're gonna push the arm towards the bike and we're gonna pull the noodle away. Sometimes you need to kind of leave your pointer finger free to help this guy kind of go on down. And then that disengages the brake. Now we need to do the quick release. So a quick release is just that. It's a releasing of the wheel that's quick. So all we're gonna do is we don't have to fumble this around at all. We're literally just taking this, rotating it 180 degrees, and that disengages. Now, one thing before we get to that point, a little pro tip here is if you notice my gears, see how it's in the biggest ring? We wanna get it to the smallest, because that's gonna make our life way easier. So let's go ahead and do that now. Easy peasy. Now we're gonna go ahead and do that quick release. And then watch this. We're just gonna pull up and the wheel's gonna slide right out because we shifted that gear. Now, we're gonna go ahead and lay the bike down with the chain always up in the air. We never want to put any undue pressure on the chain side of the bike. That's when we bend things and you have to come into the bike shop and have a frowny face and it's no fun. So, step 2, we have the wheel off. We have a punctured inner tube in here causing the flat. So let's go ahead and change it and see what's going on. So first thing we're gonna need out of our toolkit is a tire lever. You'll notice on this tire lever, there's 2 different sides. There's one that has kind of like a little spoon shape. That's what we're gonna use to actually get inside of the rim and pry the tire out. And then for pesky tires, we're gonna have this little guy to hook around the rim. For most tires, we don't need that side. So we're gonna start with the spoon, just put it in on the bead, and we're gonna use the rim to kind of pry it out like that. And then we're just gonna slowly go around the whole entire tire, and that's just gonna dislodge the bead from the rim. Now, we have access to our inner tube. We're just gonna go ahead and coax that sucker out of there, nice and gently. And if you haven't already done it, this is a good time to grab a little swiggy or water bottle, find a shady spot, because this process does take a little while. We have the punctured inner tube. If we're at our home shop or anything like that, this is when we take the compressor, fill it up, kind of feel for whatever is kind of causing the puncture, find where the hole is and address that. But for right now, we're gonna act like we're on the side of the road, and we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna gently feel around in here. The reason why we're feeling the inside of the tire isn't because we just like to feel the inside of tires. It's actually to find whatever punctured the tube, because we don't want to go ahead and put a new tube in there or it's gonna just get punctured again. Then you're not gonna have a spare, then you're have to call an Uber, and the Uber's not gonna be able to put you in the car, then you have to call your great Aunt Sally, and it's just a whole mess. So, went ahead, found it, we're gonna go ahead and pop out whatever caused the puncture. Now we know that our tire is clear, there's nothing going on. We're also gonna check the rim side, because occasionally we have this little strip in here, occasionally that strip breaks, or a spoke pops through, and that might have kind of whittled a little hole in there. So we're gonna go ahead and inspect it for any burrs or anything sharp. Don't see anything there. So now we can go ahead and put our new inner tube in. So one thing we don't want to do is put our inner tube in the bike like this. We want to give it a little bit of shape. So we have our little handy dandy pump that you would have on your bike. And we're just gonna put enough air in there just to give it some shape. How's your day going, Debbie?
Pretty good.
All right.
Ready for the Jeopardy theme?
Huh?
Do 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 do.
So as you can see, I'm just putting enough air in this to get it shape, and you saw how long that took me. Imagine how long that would take you to fill up a whole tire on the side of the trail. We're gonna talk about that in a few moments. But for right now, we just have enough air in our tire, or in our tube, excuse me, to give it some shape. So we're gonna go ahead and put this in. Easiest way to do it is you're gonna find the valve stem hole. We're gonna take the valve stem, lift it off the ground so we don't have to put our tube in the dirt, and we're gonna go ahead and just place it in there. Then we're gonna take our tire and we're gonna kind of pull it over the tube, and we're just gonna gently coax it into its home. I think coax is the word of the video today. So now you see that we have the tube inside of the shape of the tire. Nothing's really sticking out, bulging, anything weird like that. Now we're gonna go ahead, I like to start around the valve stem, and we're gonna gently just kind of pull that bead back onto the rim. On some bikes, this is very difficult. This one, it's a little bit more of a supple tire, so it's not that big of a deal. Now we have the new inner tube in, everything's set up. Now we're gonna go put it back on the bike. So we're gonna lift it up. So there's a little kind of spring in this derailleur. Easy way is if we push down on this little kind of piece of metal right here. I like to do that. Yet again, since we went ahead and did ourselves a favor and put it on that smallest ring, we know that's exactly where we need to put it this time. So we're just gonna go ahead and place it on there. And with a little bit of pressure with your other hand, we're just gonna go ahead and coax everything back into its home. Now, we're gonna go and tighten that quick release just by flipping it that 180 degrees. We just want enough pressure on that to kind of give it a little oomph with our palm, but not get it down crazy. Go ahead and engage the brake. And we know that everything's on there right when I go ahead and I grab that brake and I see that both sides are moving evenly. And we're good, now we can ride off. Wrong, we still have to put some air in the tire. So on the side of the road, you probably do not have a Craftsman compressor, you probably do not have a big pump, and you already saw how long it takes to do that little pump. So we're gonna go ahead and show you something else. There's these little devices called CO2 inflators. They make your life a lot easier. I have mine here already. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take that CO2, it's threaded, and I'm just gonna thread it into this one. This is for this model. There's other models that are different. This one's also using kind of a special design, so I can actually crank it all the way down. Ooh, like magic-ish. And there you go. Now you have some air in your tire. Your CO2, you can see it's frosty. It gets pretty cold, so you might want to be a little careful with that. And yet again, with the CO2, you're going to notice that there's no gauges or anything on it. It's just built to get enough air in the tire to get you down the road, get you to a fill station so you can put some more air in it. Anyways, this is Scott with Trek and ABC Bicycles. Those were 3 simple steps on how to change a flat, get your tire off your bike, get the old tube out, new one in, and get you back and rolling. If you have any questions, please give us a call, shoot us a message. We would love to have you. Thank you so much. Have a great day.